Hey, welcome everybody to Money Bootcamp Week 1. We're excited. Oh, this is like a good time to be talking about money, I think, because, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think that it's good, to Nancy's point in the chat, knowing what to do helps prevent fear. Very true. Spreading crazy rumors in the midst of a safety situation tends to spread fear. Knowing what to do ahead of time tends to prevent fear. So it's a very good point. I love that. I actually got an email. We have this group that that we are getting ready to like invest with properties. And this was the quote that she put. This is from Warren Buffett, and I thought that this was good to kick off Money Bootcamp a little. Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. I was like, go Warren Buffett. So it is good. It's good to be prepared. It's good to think about things. It's good to think about money. It's good to go, okay, what are my mindsets surrounding money? How do I react to things? Do we go out and then clean the shelves off, or did we already have, storage ahead of time, and we are just ready? So it is interesting to think about it. But today, I actually wanted to kick this off with a different topic. I wanted to talk a little bit about creating a long-term equity business, because that is one way that we can really be prepared for emergencies and health crisis and things like this, is that we have a steady long-term business set up, right? So that a portion of our health, which is healthy finances, is going to be a little more smooth in our life. And so when I say long-term equity business, I wanted to throw it out to you guys. Like, what does that mean to you? Or what sort of images does that conjure up? Or what's like the underlying like feelings with long-term equity business? So I wanted to open it up for discussion.
Amber, that means to me that if I got sick and I had to be out of work for a year, that my company goes on without me.
Love that, Amy.
I make money still.
Good. Nancy said in the chat, passive income. Good. Who else has thoughts on this term, long-term equity business?
My thoughts around it are, it takes a lot more work than you think it does.
Takes some work to create that. It's not just something that happens and we'll see what happens. Okay, that's a good point. Anyone else have thoughts on this?
I think you have to have an attractive business to make it a long-term equity one.
Okay. You have to be able to attract people because, or I like that, create value for a lot of people.
And playing off what Jared said, I think too, health doesn't come without intention, nor does healthy finances. So.
Love that, Jen. Anyone else?
So I think that when you say equity, I think of, my home and the equity I have in my home and how long it's taken us to put the money towards house payments to pay off the house. And that just doesn't happen overnight. And it's an investment for the future, because when the house is paid off, then, you're kind of rest assured, that you have that house as your own and that nobody can take that away from you. So in a business, I would assume it's kind of the same. Am I right?
I like that, Kristen. Yeah, that's a good, comparison, is thinking of equity in something else, in your home or an investment or something like that, that you build up that has value inherently in it that you could sell or you know, etc. So that's a good comparison. Good. Any other thoughts? Long-term equity business.
Amber, I would even say a long-term equity business is something that continues even after you're not here, which is something that I really want to accomplish. Not that I want to set my kids up with the ability to not have to work, but to definitely set people in my life up with the ability to reach out and just have better stability than we have right now. That's definitely a dream of mine and something I want to create.
I like that, Capri. Who else was talking? Okay, peace of mind. I like that, Kat and John. That's good. So maybe something that goes on longer than yourself, even. So think about that. Think about your business, and if you, you know, stopped working tomorrow or today or whatever, would your business continue on? Think about that. And the way that, you know, Jared and I have thought about this is, do you have people in your business who care about growing their business? They care about their business more than you care about them hitting ranks. You know, that's what I think about it, because you know, Kim Fisk is one of our business leaders. She's our integrated presidential, and honestly, she's not super involved in the business anymore. She's, you know, involved with her grandkids and with things in her life, and that's great. And she has enough people in her business, us and Jan Paxman and Jamil Frazier and, you know, people like that with integrated presidential businesses, that for her business goes on and she gets a paycheck. Not that she doesn't care about people getting healthy, she still does. But she goes on, her business continues on even if she doesn't work actively. So that's what I think of when I think of a long-term equity business, is you have people in your business that care more about, you know, continuing that on than you care about their rank. And I think that's really what it's about, is finding others who care about their own creation of a long-term equity business, right? And the cool thing about our business is when that happens, a whole ton of people create health in their life. And so it's such a win-win that it's just really magical. I love how our business is set up. But
Hey, Amber, can I add something about that?
absolutely.
Something that we've seen that's really cool about that is when I put in the chat thread, ED, global, any rank does not mean long-term equity business. You're on good footings when you see your business not taking seasonal or ebbs and flows, when you see a consistency across all 12 months of the year. Because depending on, everybody's gonna have a slightly different demographics in their business. You might have a lot of stay-at-home moms, or you might have a lot of teachers, or you might have a lot of professionals or something like that. And every different demographic is going to give you different ebbs and flows. So for instance, I've used this before, stay-at-home moms. They're going to see a lull in their business during pandemics, during summer, stuff like that, because they're spending more time with their kids who are at home and stuff like that than they do when their kids are in full-time school. Versus a school teacher is going to be the opposite, where they're going to have more time to work on their business during the summer than they do during the school year. So when you start to see your business evening out, and you don't, I expelled my kids from homeschool. I fired their teacher. So luckily it's not me. So when you start to see your business not have ebbs and flows, and you don't fear what a pandemic is going to do or what Christmas is going to do, something like that, you start to recognize that you have coaches in your business who care as much about their business as you do about their business. So, but that's not to say that you have a long-term equity business. That is where it starts to get exciting, that you have people in your business who care about their business. So that's the foundational pieces. You guys might look at us and say, oh, they have a big business, a huge business. I wouldn't trust our business right now to last more than a few years if we stopped working. That's why Dr. A keeps working. Like people have people quit way too early so what I'm saying is fall in love with this, fall in love with helping people, and don't think that you're ever there. It's not an arrival situation.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, Jared. It's the same with our health, right? It's like, when am I going to be at my goal weight so I'm done, right? Like the laundry, you got to keep washing it, right? And, and I think that there is a point in your business where less work is required to maintain or even grow, honestly, because you create momentum. But yeah, I'm with Jared. I love this. Like, this is what I'm going to do, like, forever. I love it. It's so much fun.
Can I throw something out there too?
Absolutely, John.
Looking up with what you and Jared have said, like, really, you guys, if you're not doing this, you're going to have to do something else anyway. So it's not like it's an or thing, right? We get to live our life like this with an and. We get to do this and lots of other cool benefits, right? But it's just funny because sometimes people are like, I just don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if I can make it through this or that. And you're like, really? The humps of the health, the humps of the business. Well, what else are you going to do? So
time's going to pass anyway. May as well do something you love.
So true. You guys, before I did this, I worked my behind off full time, many hours a week with little kids at home doing web development, building someone else's dream, building somebody else's business that they were going to retire off of, right? Or I could work my behind off on this, which is so much fun, and I could build my own long-term equity business. Like, it was like, I love that. Every minute that I could spend on this when I was doing both jobs, because I did that for 2.5 years, any minute that I could spend on building this business was building our dreams, was building our family's long-term equity, like, vision. And I was so excited about that. Like, any single minute I could be like, okay, I'm going to go do a call real quick and then come back and, oh yeah, I got to do my web development too. Like, I'll get that in as well. Like, what, so I think that's good. That's such a good point, John, to like check, like, what's your attitude about it? Like, are you excited to build your dream? I love that. Okay.
I'm just going to say this too. We are the first generation in the history of this world who thinks that it doesn't take nonstop work to survive. In the history of the world, men and women went out and hunted and gathered and farmed and all this crap, and every single member, they had kids, so they had free slaves. Right? That's why my parents had 6 kids. They wanted indentured servants, right? So, I mean, that's what it takes. Well, like, we're not on this planet for free rides. We're here to work our butts off. We just get to do it doing something really cool.
So true. Okay, I want to share some thoughts on what it takes to create a long-term equity business. Anybody interested in learning what that takes? Okay, so these are my parents. This is Jared, myself, and my mom and dad. And my mom, for those of you who don't know, she is, mother health coach. She is Jared and I, she is our sponsor, and she sponsored us into this business 11 years ago this month. And my dad, he doesn't actively like call clients or things like that, but he is like a great partner for my mom. And so my dad always said growing up that if you want to build something right, then you want to look at 3 factors: quality, cost, and speed. And you can choose 2. And I will explain that a little further. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about building a yard. So our yard is now complete. We have lived in our house almost 3 years, and our yard is now complete. And so let's talk about quality. So do you want this patchy bits of grass, weird grass hill faces, or patchy looking whatever? Or do you want quality? Do you want something that looks really nice? I should have put a picture of our real yard. I haven't updated this. But these were from my dream board. This is like some things that I gave our landscaper to kind of go off of. So if you want something that is of quality, you have to consider that, okay? So how about cost? So when your neighbor says, hey, my guy did our lawn for cheap, but their yard looks like this, do you want to go with their lawn guy, right? It's up to you, right? So you need to consider cost. What's it going to cost to build the thing that I am going to build? Or, are you going to say, your landscape architect says, hey, I recommend these guys. They're not the cheapest, but they're the best. Here's some pictures of things they've done. So that's an example. How about speed? So this is a picture of our yard, not currently, but when it was getting going. Maybe Jared can get some pictures ready for later of what our yard looks like now. But speed. When it's been a month and your neighbors are like, so what are you building? Are you putting in a pool or what? Sometimes it's going to take a certain amount of time to build what you're going to want to build. It's going to be at a certain speed, okay? So let's talk about creating a long-term business. Let's kind of liken that to your business now. So what was the first factor? You guys remember? Quality. Yep. So quality is the first factor. So what type of quality are you building in your business? Are you putting systems in place? Are you sponsoring people who also want to build this thing? Are you, training people correctly? Are you bringing on a coach and then saying, well, good luck, like, oh, that was a lot of work to bring on a coach and I'm all out of energy? Or are you putting in time? Because a lot of times bringing on a new coach, there's more time put in at the beginning, right? In doing some 3-way health assessments and helping them learn the system and helping them craft their story and helping them know how to utilize social media or talking to people in a way that is going to actually yield results, right? So those are all factors that are helping you build a quality long-term equity business, okay? Quality business. So what was the second factor? Cost, right? So what does it cost to do that? Let's see, I actually have a slide on this. Okay, what does growing a business cost? So there are some fixed costs, right? How much does it cost to get a kit? $199. So fixed costs are pretty dang low, right? Oh, and there's a $99 renewal once a year. So you got to consider that. There's also some other costs if you're really wanting to build a quality business, right? Yeah, feel free to put in the chat if you think of things. Convention. Yep. So going to build a quality business, you're going to attend events. That's going to cost some money. But there isn't a ton of fixed costs in our business. Agreed? They're like comparatively to like fixed costs of owning a store, a retail store on Main Street. where you have like rent and utilities and employees and, you know, all the things. So those are the fixed costs. How about opportunity costs? You're going to be using your time to work on your business that you could be bringing another income possibly, right? So like when I started, I worked as a web developer, and I had to either work on that or work on this business, right? And I was paid hourly. Well, actually I was on salary at the end, but anyway. So there is opportunity cost there where you're either doing one thing or you're doing another thing. There's also opportunity costs for like your interests or hobbies, or working out, or playing with your kids, or spending time with your spouse, or whatever. You know, that's just how life is. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. It is a set amount of time per day, and you decide how to prioritize it. Also thinking of opportunity cost short-term versus long-term is so key, because you can think of, well, okay, so if I do this health assessment with a potential client and it takes me a half an hour and they sign up, then great, I made X dollars. But you can't always think of it that's the short-term thought, right? So the long-term thought is the time that I'm putting in is growing a business that will pay me more in the future than it is paying right now this next Wednesday, right? So there's that short-term versus long-term opportunity costs as well. And then there's sunk costs. Anybody know what sunk cost means who have gone to business school or maybe heard this talk before? What's a sunk cost?
The continued costs that you get from not being able to pivot from a decision where you're like, this is stupid, it doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna keep throwing money into it because they say you can't quit.
I love that. Yeah, just continually like pouring money into something that's not working because you've already poured money into it. It's an example of a sunk cost. Like, I'll give you an example that's kind of a fun one. So years ago, yes, Kat knew exactly, or John knew exactly what I was going to talk about. So we had a coach that was like, I have this great idea. I'm going to put a billboard on the freeway. And we were like, oh, okay. Do you have some sort of like deal on a billboard? Like someone's like giving you a free billboard? Or no, it's going to cost me, I can't remember what it was now. Jared, do you remember? It was like $6,000. Yeah, something like that. Like $6,000, and I'm gonna have this billboard up, and it's gonna say, my butt was as big as this billboard. Chantel says 10,000. And then it was like had a website on it to like collect people who want to sign up, right? And we were like, okay, well, that's one idea. We don't recommend this. We actually knew of another coach who did a billboard several years previous, and we asked her, what was the yield on your billboard? And she said, I signed up one client, and it was my neighbor who I'd already talked to. And she said, once I saw your billboard, then I really wanted to do it. So we were like, we want to share this with you. You are an entrepreneur, you are an independent contractor, so you clearly can do whatever feels right to you. But we would like to share this knowledge of another person who tried this. And so she did the billboard, she went ahead with it. And anyone want to guess how many clients she got from this billboard? Yeah, goose egg. 0. 0 clients from the billboard, you guys. And it was like, she could not get past it in her head. It was like, no, I probably need to do another 6 months, or I'm so mad. I'm not going to go to I'm not going to convention because I already spent the money on the billboard. That is a sunk cost, you guys. Sometimes we make decisions and they don't pan out. And just to like spin our wheels and either dump more money into thing that's not working. It sounds funny, but people do this all the time, you guys. Well, I've already started this other business in selling perfume, and I've already put, thousands of dollars into my perfume business, so I can't stop it now, even though they're losing money month after month. So sunk costs, huge thing to consider. Okay. So that's what there are costs, and it's not always monetary costs. You have to think about the cost of growing a long-term equity business. And speed. So how quickly are you wanting to grow? How does a shorter or longer time frame affect quality and cost? So here's what I want to talk about with you guys. So my dad said quality, speed, and cost, right? Choose two. So if you want to build a business super fast and you want super high quality business going on, that can be done. Do not get me wrong, you can choose two. But guess what the third factor is? Cost. That is going to cost you, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time. You're probably going to have to give up some hobbies. You're probably going to have to work your patootie off, right? And that's okay if that's what you want. But it's so important to remember those three factors when you're wanting to build a business. Because some people go, well, I want to build a business really fast and I don't want to put in a ton of time, or like my own, what your cost is, right? So what's that third factor that's going to lose out? Quality, right? Because you're not going to put in that time with new coaches and doing those three-way health assessments. And so there's so many times that that we don't think about this, is that you can choose two when you're building that long-term equity business. So I want to open it up and kind of get some of your thoughts, takeaways, feedback. What's coming up for you?
I think these three are such an interesting concept, and John and I were kind of offline kind of saying, oh my gosh, that's where we were. And the first year we went really, really fast that we were in the business, but our quality, we sacrificed quality for time and speed. And now we've shifted. And I think that's something that's maybe notable for people to recognize, like, if you feel like you're sacrificing one that you don't want to sacrifice, that you can shift that. And I think now we've kind of gone to a place that we'd rather have quality, and time is kind of, we've put time to the side. It takes as long as it takes, and we want quality and cost now. So yeah. I think it's interesting that we can shift. And we always are with things. And I think about how it's our brain's job to always categorize things. And so we're always thinking, oh, do I want to do this, or do I want to do that? No, this, or, and in the uncertain times that we face right now, that one of the biggest values we can bring to people is time and just being there for them. And this is a really powerful time to build strong relationships, to help people manage their emotions, to help people process their emotions. And a lot of people are at home joking around about the before and after COVID-19 with the big chubby Barbie, that she's skinny now and she's going to be chubby after COVID-19. And a lot of people are home emotionally eating, and we can help jump in, and maybe we don't need to be fast. It's not all about speed. It's more about quality and time right now.
I love those thoughts, Kat.
I think that's interesting, because I think that naturally we live in a society where most people are obsessed with cost. We look at how much is it going to cost me money-wise, financially, how much time cost is it? Is the prize as big as the price? Whatever it takes in. And one of the things that I feel like we've learned over the last decade is one of the big parts of quality in our business is diversity. I do not want a team full of people just like me. I don't want a team full of people that share my same beliefs. I want thousands and millions of different kinds of beliefs, because that is what diversity creates strength. And but one of the things, and that's why Dr. A has been so adamant about bringing in outside sources, like really, really credible people, to help enlighten us and help us develop as human beings, because when we're not growing our businesses the way we want, typically it's because we're only attracting people like us. And I think a huge part of building really, really strong businesses is attracting people from all walks of life that can relate to people from all walks of life. And that's how we're going to get America and the world healthier, is to be able to have so many people that can share with a few people each. This business is built off of senior coaches and executive directors. It's not built on IPDs. It's built on a lot of people helping fewer numbers rather than fewer people helping tons of numbers. So I think that a huge part for us, and we were resistant to in the first few years, and it really came with Kim Fisk saying to us, you guys are going to have to become a whole lot more emotionally intelligent, right to our faces, and us saying, you know what, we've got to grow up. We've got to gain some maturity and some wisdom, and really focus on personal development.
Yeah, so true. And even looking at that, you know, the quality, speed, cost, when you are setting your business up, like, are you supporting 200 personal clients and not offering coaching to anyone? And what kind of cost is that to you with your opportunity costs, with being able to build a long-term equity business, being able to spend time with family, or are you just trading time for money? And so, just like looking at different things and realizing that the obstacle is the way, is that so many times we are going to run up, we're going to be hitting our head against the wall for a time, and we're going to be going, what's wrong? Why isn't it happening the way that I think it should? Why isn't my business at this level versus this level? And really going, what do I need to learn? And who do I need to become? And how do I need to shape my business to get to the place that that's my son's friend. On that note, we are out of time. So thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all that you do. I appreciate you guys being open and curious about money for the next several weeks while we are at Money Bootcamp. And we will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.